My name is Mackenzie, and this is my YouTube channel, Autistic Musings, where we talk about all things autistic. Now, welcome if you're a new viewer and you're here for your loved one, your friend, or you're autistic yourself. And if you're a returning viewer, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. So, have you ever had a computer that you put too much stuff on? Like, you overloaded it, you put too much things, and it's all over the place, and there's too many pages up, and suddenly you click on it and try to do a new thing, and it just freezes. It starts going really, really slow, and until you take those things off of it, it keeps on going really, really slow and not quite keeping up with the usual pace it usually does because it's been completely overwhelmed by the amount of things you put on it. That's kind of like a meltdown for an autistic person. Our brains get completely overwhelmed by our environment. We've got too many things going on, and we have not been charging up our battery by doing our basic needs, stemming and stuff like that too. That could be a contributing factor, not always. It might just be the massive change and suddenly a whole bunch of new things on your plate that you didn't anticipate. And your brain doesn't like that. And it decides to freeze rational thinking. And you can go one of two ways. It's kind of like that fight or flight reaction we got. It's extension off of that, where flight is the shutdown mode we have, and I'll go over that in a different video, but meltdown is very outwards fight reaction. Not everybody that's autistic fights in that mode, but we do not act like ourselves. My own personal experience with meltdowns was always deeply, deeply confusing. I could not explain or understand my line of reasoning at all in those moments. It made no sense. I would yell, I say things, and I'm like, I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I was yelling. I don't know why this is happening. It was very confusing before I got my diagnosis. It was super confusing and alarming, and I would eventually calm down. It would take a while, and be completely baffled by my behavior. I did not understand why I did any of that. It was what happened, that type of thing. It wasn't something that was voluntary. So this is like an involuntary reaction of complete overwhelm from our environment, and our brains decide to shut down for us. And when I say shut down for us, I mean rational thinking, controlling things, and it shows in our actions in these moments, because personally, I think out my decisions quite a bit. I don't usually do spontaneous things. I'm not a spontaneous person. It's not my thing. So when I'm in this moment, I say things and they're not thought out. They're completely irrational. I don't get it. I've seen my brother's meltdowns as well, and completely irrational. About once he's calmed down too, he definitely apologized for his behavior as well. And from my perspective, I didn't understand why I was doing this in these moments. I didn't know I was autistic until last year, and these moments are pretty upsetting from my perspective. Just emotionally, it's like the most horrible roller coaster I have ever been on, and I don't understand in the moment that the feelings and the complete overwhelm and the irrationalness of all this, I don't think I comprehend that it's like temporary either. So it feels like a forever moment, and it's deeply, deeply upsetting to like think about, because I don't understand my behavior, and it's not something that occurs usual in my day-to-day thought process. It's all very overwhelming, and I like really describe in depth how I'm feeling in this moment because I want to elicit some empathy, because often this moment can be misunderstood from outsider perspective and thinking that it's like a tantrum. It's not. It's something different. A tantrum is because a child is not getting what they want, and they're trying to do an explosion of emotion to get what they want, and they're not happy about it, so they're outwardly expressing it in such ways, and they still have control over the behavior. They can still eventually calm down and rate it in on their own very, very quickly. I live with a child, so I've seen this before. An autistic person, in my experience in these moments, it takes a long time to come down from this wave of confusing irrationality in my brain and wave of emotion. It takes a while. And I am not having the amount of control that I see in a child who's having a tantrum and reins it in. I don't know. That's not going to happen. I need to like calm down, and that's going to take time and space for me. It may be different for other people, but it's very involuntary, and it's not a fun experience, and it's not like a choice to go into this state. It's the overwhelming environment, overwhelming change, and I hope by sharing my own experience, I may help others understand what autistic people are going through in these moments, and create some empathy and sympathy rather than judgment. Is the goal here. So if any of you would like to share any of your experience, if you're comfortable. I know this is one of the most uncomfortable topics with autism for me, in my own personal experience. I welcome anybody sharing, but I understand if you don't want to. So, yeah. Thank you for joining me on Autistic Musings today. And if you liked this topic and you'd like to hear more, please post in the comments section. I welcome the feedback. And if you'd like to see more of my content, please subscribe, like, and share.